Have you ever stood in front of your mirror at dawn, the house quiet, and caught a glimpse of the man staring back, really seen him? Have you wondered what the years have carved into his face? What stories his eyes still ache to tell? If you're a man over 50, this moment matters more than you might dare to believe. Because there are truths you cannot afford to ignore. Now, not at this age, not with so much behind you and so much still at stake ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today I'm speaking directly to every man who has crossed the threshold of 50. You've traveled a long, winding road. You've stood on mountain peaks and trudged through valleys. You've witnessed the rise and fall of seasons, victories earned and mistakes made. And now, whether you see it or not, you stand at the edge of legacy, a place where your life story begins to ripple into generations you may never meet. But before you step forward, there are 6 truths you must know. Not someday, not after one more business deal. Now, because if you don't grasp them, time will not wait. And if you do, you can finish stronger, live deeper, and leave behind something far greater than a name on a plaque or a line on a resume. If you are a man over 50, you've probably found yourself staring at your reflection longer than you used to, seeing more than just wrinkles or gray hairs. You see the miles in your eyes, the echoes of years that went by too fast. You see the choices you made, some bold, some regrettable, and the roads you took that shaped the man you've become. You see the moments you tried to outrun the truth, and the moments you stood your ground when it mattered most. At this point in a man's life, the questions change. The drive to conquer starts to give way to a deeper yearning. What did it all mean? What really lasts? And who am I now that I'm not the fastest, strongest, or first choice anymore? These are holy questions. Questions that every man must face if he wants peace in the years he has left. Let me speak plainly. Your soul still matters more than your status. We live in a world that has lied to you since you were a boy. It taught you that your worth is in what you produce, what you own, what titles you collect. How many people know your name? From the time we were young, we were told to win, to achieve, to conquer over and over, until it felt like achievement was our only worth. But while work success and provision are good and noble things, when they become your identity, you've built your house on sand. I have sat across tables from men who could buy anything. Money could offer men with titles that make others stand when they enter a room. CEOs, generals, industry, giants. And I've heard them whisper in quiet moments, voice shaking, "I don't know who I am without this title." Let that sink in. This is not peace. This is bondage. It's slavery to reputation, a prison made of applause. Because one day, the calls stop coming. The office door closes behind you for the last time. The crowd moves on to someone younger, faster, newer. And when the career slows, when the accolades fade, when the invitations dwindle, who are you? Then, if your worth was tied to what you did, your soul will stagger under the weight of irrelevance. But the truth, the freeing truth is this: your value was never measured by your victories. Your deepest worth was never tied to your work. The deepest part of you, the part that loves, that weeps, that hopes, even now, is your soul. And if you are a man over 50, you cannot afford to ignore it any longer. This isn't a call to abandon ambition or stop striving for excellence. It's a call to remember what matters most. Your soul is not an accessory you polish up on Sundays. It is your essence. It is the only part of you that will outlast your house, your car, your retirement account. It is the part of you that will go on when your body lies quiet, when your name fades from memory. Maybe you've spent decades building a reputation, providing for your family, achieving what once felt impossible. Maybe your hands have signed contracts, built businesses, or led hundreds. But maybe, just maybe, under all that you still carry wounds no one sees. Maybe there's a failure you never faced, a sin you never confessed, a regret you've let fester like an unhealed wound. Maybe you've hidden it under layers of busy schedules, impressive accomplishments, or silent shame. But hear me clearly, now is the time to deal with it. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because what you don't confront will keep you captive. And the older you get, the more temptation you'll feel to leave it buried. But your soul deserves better. Your soul demands better. Because only a free soul can finish this life strong and at peace. Remember this. Your soul is the part of you that God knit together before you were born. It's the part that whispers prayers when you can't find the words. It's the part that stirs with joy when you see your grandchild laugh, or aches with sorrow when someone you love walks away. Your soul bears the imprints of every heartbreak, every triumph, every lesson learned in quiet hours. It is the part of you that God loves most tenderly, and the part of you the enemy wants most desperately to corrupt or distract. So don't ignore it any longer. Care for it like you cared for your career. Feed it like you fed your ambitions. Invest in it like you once invested in your future. Because your soul is your future, and it will carry you beyond every paycheck, every trophy, every memory. You can climb every ladder this world builds. You can collect every medal, every dollar, every compliment, and still stand bankrupt before God. You can appear successful in the eyes of everyone around you, yet walk alone with a hollow soul carrying an emptiness no trophy can fill. And yet you can also live a quiet life, never seeing your name in lights, never hearing a crowd cheer for you, and still be known intimately by the one who created the stars, still be beloved in heaven. Let me ask you, plainly, do you have peace? Do you know who you truly are when all the noise fades, when every title is stripped away, when the applause stops, and it's just you in the silence? Are you right with the people you've wounded, with the family you may have pushed aside in your busyness, with the God you've ignored or doubted? These are the questions that don't go away with time. They grow louder as the years pass. And hear me clearly, there's no shame in starting over. There's no shame in dropping to your knees at 55 or 65 or 75 and whispering, "Lord, I've built a house of stone, but inside I'm empty. I need you to fill me." Because when your soul is right, truly right, there's a peace that money can't buy and fame can't fake. You begin to live not out of fear of what people think, but out of the freedom of who you really are. You become the kind of man your children and grandchildren remember, not just with affection, but with honor. You become the man who can shed tears without feeling weak, who can say, "I was wrong," and gain respect instead of losing it. Because humility is strength, and truth is more powerful than any image you can create. So don't waste another day trying to prop up an illusion of success. Don't let the fear of looking vulnerable keep you from being whole. Your soul matters more than your status ever will. And if you're over 50, you should know by now the truth: only one of those things will last forever. There's a dangerous lie that slips into a man's mind as he crosses 50. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And it wears a mask of false wisdom. It says things like, "You've done enough. You've given enough. Let the younger men handle it now." It tries to soothe you into complacency with words like, "Your time has passed. Your voice doesn't carry weight anymore. Your strength is too faded. Your purpose has expired." And if you've heard that voice, if you've started to believe it, you need to silence it today. Because that voice is not the voice of truth. It is not the voice of your Creator. It is the voice of resignation, of giving up before your race is finished. Let me tell you something you need to remember every day. You are not done. You are not finished. As long as there is breath in your lungs, there is purpose in your life. As long as your heart beats, God has work for you to do, words for you to speak people, for you to love, prayers, for you to pray. Because a man over 50 should know he may be older, but he is stronger in the ways that matter most. He has lived through storms. He has tasted defeat and chosen not to stay down. He has held the hand of a dying parent and kissed the forehead of a newborn grandchild. He has watched the rise and fall of men who once thought they were invincible. He has earned his scars. And scars, my friend, are not symbols of weakness. They are medals of endurance. They are proof that you have been wounded, but you are still standing. They tell a story of battles fought and lessons learned. So don't let those scars make you retreat. Let them make you wise, compassionate, unshakable. Now is not the time to withdraw. Now is the time to go deeper into faith, deeper into love, deeper into purpose. Because your calling does not retire just because you do. You may not be climbing ladders anymore, but perhaps now you are building them for someone else. Maybe now your role isn't to rise, but to lift. What if your greatest contribution isn't ahead of you in terms of titles or achievements, but beside you in the people you mentor, the lives you encourage, the hearts you heal? What if your legacy isn't measured by your name on a building, but by the quiet strength you share with someone who needs to know they're not alone? You have stories that can guide faith, that can inspire wisdom, that can anchor someone else's stormy seas. So don't let this season slip through your fingers because you believe the lie that your time is over. It isn't. Don't settle for just existing. Don't drift into the background thinking you're done. You are not a relic of the past. You are a vessel of hope for the present. You can remind this world that real men don't fade quietly. They finish boldly with humility and love. You can be the reason a young man believes integrity still matters. You can be the answer to a lonely friend's prayer. You can be the light in a family gathering that brings peace and wisdom. Every day you wake up is proof that God still has work for you. So get up, speak life, seek forgiveness, offer forgiveness, love bravely, and know that in these years, perhaps more than any other, you can have the greatest impact of your life. Because now you don't have to prove yourself. Now you can simply be yourself. And that, my friend, is the man the world needs most. Because here's a truth you can't afford to ignore. At the end of your days, your words will fade. The photos on your walls will yellow and curl at the edges. But your legacy, the man you were to those who knew you best, that will echo through generations. That will live on long after your voice has quieted. So, know, my friend, you're not done. You're not obsolete or irrelevant. You're not standing on the sidelines waiting for the game to end. You are reaching the most important part of the journey, the stretch of road where the path narrows. The light deepens, and your destination becomes unmistakably clear. And in this sacred season, your calling isn't just to succeed or to maintain what you've built. It's to sow seeds of love into lives, plant hope in hearts, invest time and truth into souls that will outlast you. That is what a man over 50 must know, what he must embrace and what he must live. As a man grows older, he naturally accumulates experiences. Some of those memories are bright, joyful, full of life. Others, however, are shadows, moments of pain, words spoken in anger, or wounds left unhealed. And it's in those darker moments that many men find the most difficulty. Because if you're over 50, you likely carry the weight of some offenses, some done to you, and yes, some done by you. There's not a man alive who's walked this earth without scars from hurt or betrayal, whether he was the one who received them or the one who caused them. The real question every man must face is this: how do you handle the weight of old wounds and painful memories? Because if you're still clinging to unforgiveness, thinking it protects you or keeps you strong. Let me tell you, plainly, it's not you holding it. It's the bitterness holding you. You're the one being kept prisoner, chained in a cell of your own making. Forgiveness is not something you offer because the person who hurt you deserves it. It's something you do because you deserve to be free. It's the master key that unlocks the prison door. You've been locked behind the door marked resentment. A man who refuses to forgive is a man who willingly carries chains long after the battle is over. And those chains, they don't just weigh down your shoulders. They crush your heart, your peace, and your soul. They grow heavier with every passing year, and as you age, those chains begin to carve deep grooves into your life. Grooves of bitterness that are hard to escape. A man over 50 should know this by heart. You don't have time to waste holding on to grudges. You've lived too much life, seen too much to let old hurts continue to poison your days. Whether it was a father who fell short, a friend who betrayed your deepest trust, a spouse who wounded your heart, or a child who turned their back, know this: the damage of unforgiveness doesn't stay neatly in the past. It seeps into your present, coloring every relationship, every quiet moment, every dream you still hold. The longer you clutch it, the more it robs you of the peace that is rightfully yours, peace you've earned through decades of living. Forgiveness isn't easy. It's not pretending the offense never happened. It's not excusing the wrong. It's releasing the power that the offense has over you, choosing to put down what was never yours to carry forever. It's recognizing that nobody on this earth is perfect, including you. And it's having the courage to remember that your own mistakes have been forgiven by God and by those who truly love you, and so you must extend that same grace to others. Because forgiveness, my friends, is freedom. Freedom to walk forward without being dragged back by the ghosts of yesterday. Freedom to breathe deeper, laugh more easily, sleep more peacefully. And if you're over 50, let go of the past. Let go of the pain, because you have too much life ahead of you to let what happened long ago steal your remaining days. And now this brings us to another truth. Every man over 50 must understand and face with honesty: your body is not invincible. You've lived long enough to know the truth of this, haven't you? When you were young, you could burn the candle at both ends, push yourself beyond the brink, and still bounce back. You might have believed you were made of steel, but the years reveal what youth hid so well. The body is fragile, finite, and precious. Too many men let busy years fly by without a second thought for their health. Work came first. Family demands pulled you in every direction. Caring for your own well-being always came last, if it came at all. But here's the sobering truth. Past 50, your health can no longer be an afterthought. The time for wishful thinking is over. Your body will speak up whether you like it or not, with aches that linger longer, energy that fades faster, and warnings you can't ignore. Exercise for a man in his later years isn't about vanity. It's not about chasing a youthful image in the mirror. It's about staying strong enough to love well, to serve those who depend on you, and to be present, truly present, with the people who need you most. It's about having the stamina to keep showing up, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Your body might not move as quickly or easily as it once did, but it can still be a powerful vessel for strength, service, and compassion. Men, it's time to take your health seriously. No more excuses. Eat better. Fuel your body with the kind of nourishment that sustains, not destroys. Move more, not because you have something to prove, but because you have people to love. Walk, stretch, lift, breathe deeply. Rest when you need to. Know your limits, but don't surrender to them. Listen to your body. It's the only one you get on this side of eternity. Because every step you take toward caring for your health is an act of love for yourself, for your family, and for the God who gave you this body as a gift. You were never meant to abuse it, ignore it, or act like it's indestructible. You were meant to steward it, to use it wisely, to honor God and others through it. And as you begin to release old burdens and take better care of the vessel you've been given, you'll find new energy, new hope, and new purpose rising up within you. You'll discover that these later years aren't just about slowing down, they're about preparing yourself to finish strong. They're about giving your best in ways only you can with the wisdom and experience that come from decades of living. So don't see your aging body as a symbol of decline. See it as a reminder of how far you've come, how much you've learned, and how much you still have to offer. Take care of it with gratitude and reverence, because every heartbeat is a gift. I'm not talking about chasing some impossible ideal of youth or obsessing over every wrinkle and gray hair. I'm not saying you need to look like a man half your age or keep up with every fitness trend that promises to turn back the clock. No. What I'm talking about is stewardship, the sacred responsibility to care for the body you've been given, because it's the only one you'll ever have. And the older you get, the more important this truth becomes. You see, it's not just about you anymore. It's about the people who love you, the people who depend on you, the people who still need you here, healthy, strong, and present. Think about it. You want to be there for your family, don't you? You want to hold your grandchild's hand, to walk your daughter down the aisle, to sit across the table from your spouse, and share stories without the weight of sickness, cutting conversations short. You want to see the dreams of those you love unfold before your eyes, and you want to be able to celebrate those moments with a heart full of gratitude and a body that can keep up. You want to serve with strength, not just for yourself, but so you can pass on your wisdom, so you can show the younger generation what it looks like to finish well, so you can walk into your later years with dignity, not defeat. Because let's face it, the world needs men who don't fade quietly, but who stand tall until their last day. Men who don't just drift into old age, but who embrace it as a season of purpose. Men who understand that the choices they make now in their 50s, 60s, 70s will ripple into the lives of those who come after them. That's why taking care of your health is not selfish. It's one of the most loving things you can do. And finally, as the years stretch behind you and the horizon grows closer, there is one more truth you must carry. Like a compass in your heart, your opinions must be humbled by your knees. Because it's so easy, isn't it? Easy to think that, because you've lived longer, you know better than everyone else. Easy to let your years of experience turn into a fortress of pride, where every conversation becomes an opportunity to prove how much you know, and every disagreement feels like a personal attack. But hear me, the older you get, the more you should realize that the true strength of a man is not found in his ability to dominate a conversation, but in his willingness to listen, to pause, to consider, and most importantly, to pray. Because prayer is not a sign of weakness. It's not the last resort of a man who has run out of options. Prayer is the wellspring of true power. It's the quiet place where you admit that you can't control everything, that you can't fix every problem, that you can't protect everyone you love by your own strength. A man over 50 knows deep in his bones that so much of life is beyond his grasp. He knows he cannot change the hearts of others. He cannot stop time, no matter how much he wishes he could slow it down. He cannot reach into the past to mend every mistake or heal every wound. But he can kneel. He can humble himself before the one who holds eternity in his hands. He can lift up his family, his friends, his community, and his own weary heart to the God who sees, who hears, and who answers. Because when a man kneels, he acknowledges his place in the grand story of life. He surrenders his pride. He confesses his limitations. And, in that place of humility, he finds rest for his soul, courage for his heart, and clarity for his purpose. Prayer doesn't take away the storms of life, but it anchors you so the winds don't blow you off course. It reminds you that even when you don't know what tomorrow holds, you know the one who does. So if you are over 50, understand this with every fiber of your being: your knees should be stronger than your opinions. Don't let your pride blind you to the quiet power of humility. Don't let the passing years fool you into thinking you have all the answers or that you no longer need guidance, because the truth is, you will never outgrow your need for God. The older you get, the more you need His wisdom, His mercy, and His presence to light your way. When you kneel, you invite heaven into your home. You open doors that your words could never unlock. You model for your children and grandchildren what it means to be a man who depends on God, not just himself. And in that, you leave a legacy more powerful than wealth or achievements. You leave behind an example of faith, of strength, wrapped in humility, of a heart surrendered to something greater. A man over 50 has walked many roads, climbed many hills, faced many battles. But he should never believe for one moment that he's reached the end of his usefulness, or that his purpose has expired. He may have gained many things in his lifetime: knowledge, experience, success. But the most important truth to remember is this: the journey is not over. The path ahead still holds days of purpose, moments of wonder, and opportunities to pour out love. Before we step forward, let's remind ourselves of the heart of what we've learned so far. Your worth has never been measured by your titles or trophies, but by the quiet strength of your soul. And now let's go deeper. A man over 50 should know beyond any doubt that his soul still matters more than his status. Because it's so easy, isn't it? Easy to let the passing years become a scoreboard of accomplishments. You can count the money you've earned, the deals you've closed, the promotions you've celebrated. These things look impressive on paper, but in the end, paper fades. Titles are forgotten. Bank accounts can empty, and applause always quiets with time. What endures, what echoes through eternity, is your soul. The core of who you are when there's no one left to impress, no accolades to chase, no stage to perform on. It's the part of you that will still exist when the office lights go out, when your nameplate comes off the door, when the world stops asking what you do and starts asking who you are. When you reach this age, you must pause and ask yourself with honesty and humility: what have I done to nurture my soul? Have I invested in what truly matters? Have I loved well, forgiven deeply, prayed earnestly? Have I given time to my faith, to the relationships that matter more than any transaction? Far too many men wait until they've run out of time before they ask these questions. They spend decades running, achieving, collecting things that fill their garage but not their hearts. They fill calendars but leave their souls empty. They chase comfort but find themselves restless at night, lying awake, wondering why the victories feel hollow. A man over 50 needs to understand that he is not defined by the lines on his resume, the prestige of his position, or the accolades written on a plaque. His worth is rooted in his relationship with God, in the love he shared with family, in the peace that comes from a life lived in integrity. Because the man who invests in his soul, who seeks peace with himself and with God, becomes unshakable. He knows that even when the storms of life come, he is anchored in something eternal, something no stock market crash or bad diagnosis can ever take away. He knows his identity doesn't rise and fall with the opinions of others, and that gives him a calm strength that shines brighter than any worldly success. But don't misunderstand, just as your soul is precious, so too is the recognition that your purpose doesn't disappear when you reach this season of life. The temptation is real to believe the lie that your best days are behind you, that the major chapters have been written, that the race has been run, and now it's time to coast. But hear me clearly, your purpose hasn't retired, it's simply evolved. There is still work for you to do. There are still hearts to touch, lives to encourage, burdens to help carry. There are still words only you can say, prayers only you can pray, wisdom only you can offer. A man over 50 must know that he still has so much to give. The years you've walked through the mountains, you've climbed the valleys, you've survived. These experiences are not meant to gather dust, like old trophies. They are gifts meant to be shared. The lessons you learned through pain and triumph, the perspective you gained through both failure and success, these are treasures the next generation desperately needs. There is always someone younger, someone searching, someone stumbling who could find hope, courage, or direction through your words and your example. Whether you choose to mentor a young man navigating his first big decisions, guide your children as they build families of their own, or simply be a quiet presence who listens without judgment, your purpose is alive. It is not finished. It continues to unfold with every sunrise. And let's remember, your legacy is not measured by what you leave behind in material things. It's not the size of your estate or the wealth of your portfolio that will matter most when you're gone. It's the people you loved and led. It's the stories your grandchildren will tell about how you treated them, how you showed up, how you lived out your faith. It's the young men who will remember the time you gave them the wisdom you shared when no one else noticed they were struggling. It's the spouse who will remember your kindness in the quiet moments. It's the friends who will remember your laughter and loyalty. It's the family who will remember your integrity, your generosity, your humility. Because in the end, your legacy is written not in ink, but in hearts. And a man who knows this, who lives with his soul anchored in truth and his eyes set on purpose, will leave behind something no fire or time can destroy, a testament to a life that mattered. A man over 50 must come to understand deep in his bones that legacy has nothing to do with monuments of stone or fleeting fame in the eyes of the world. Legacy is measured by people, the ones you've loved, the lives you've lifted, the hearts you've healed, the souls you've inspired. It is etched not into plaques or buildings, but into the memories of those who knew you. It's in the laughter of your children, the gratitude of a friend, the quiet strength you gave to someone who thought they were alone. This is your legacy, and it will outlast any title, paycheck, or possession. And now, more than ever before, it is time to pour yourself into the people around you. Don't hold back. Give your time, your wisdom, your patience, and your heart. Nurture your relationships. Choose to be present even when it's inconvenient. Call your family. Encourage your friends. Show kindness to strangers who can never repay you. Because when you are gone, no one will talk about your car or your house. They will remember your compassion. They will remember how you made them feel, seen, heard, and valued. They will remember your love. And that memory will echo far beyond your days on this earth. Yet as you love others, you must also love yourself enough to release what weighs you down. Because as a man ages, he collects not only wisdom, but wounds, some fresh, some decades old. Perhaps it's a harsh word from a parent that never stopped ringing in your mind. Perhaps it's a betrayal by someone you once trusted like a brother. Perhaps it's your own mistakes that you keep punishing yourself for, unable to believe you can ever be free of them. These wounds don't heal by themselves. If ignored, they become bitterness. And bitterness is a poison that hardens your heart, clouds your mind, and steals your peace. A man over 50 must know without doubt that forgiveness is freedom. It is not an optional virtue or a soft word for the weak-hearted. It is the only key that unlocks the prison of the past. Forgiveness does not say what happened was okay. It says you will no longer let it control you. It is not a gift for the person who hurt you. It is a gift for yourself, a declaration that you refuse to stay chained to yesterday's pain. Because a bitter heart is not a strong heart. A bitter heart is weighed down, always looking backward, unable to see the beauty of today or the hope of tomorrow. But when you forgive, truly forgive, you lighten your soul. You give yourself permission to heal. You release the anger that robs your joy, the resentment that saps your strength. You open yourself to love again, to trust again, to breathe deeply and live fully. Forgiveness must also extend inward. Some of the hardest words to say are not "I forgive you," but "I forgive myself." Every man has failed. Every man has regrets. But God does not call you to live forever in shame. He calls you to stand, to learn, to grow. When you let go of guilt and accept grace, you not only heal yourself, but you become a beacon of hope for others. You show your children and your friends that it is never too late to change, never too late to choose a different path, never too late to become the man you were meant to be. And so, as you stand at this powerful intersection of wisdom and experience, remember these truths. Your soul still matters. Your purpose is not finished. Your legacy is alive right now in every life you touch, every kind word you speak, every act of love you choose. The greatest gift you can give the world is not your success, your trophies, or your possessions. It is your time, your wisdom, your encouragement, your faith. It is the simple moments you share with others, the prayers you whisper for them, the quiet strength you lend when they are weak. So do not shrink back. Do not believe the lie that your best days are behind you. Do not let bitterness or regret rob you of the beauty of these years. Live with courage, love with abandon, forgive with freedom, and walk into every sunrise with grace in your heart, purpose in your steps, and peace in your soul. Because the world still needs what only you can give. A man's career may end, his title may change, and his wealth may rise or fall like the tides, but his soul, the very heart of who he is, remains the foundation upon which everything else rests. If you are a man over 50, you need to understand deep in your bones that your worth is not measured by your accomplishments, your accolades, or how others view you. These things are like morning mist here for a moment, then gone with the heat of the day. What endures, what truly lasts, is the peace that settles in your heart when you've cared for your soul. Ask yourself honestly, have you invested time in your inner life? Have you prioritized your relationship with your Creator, your family, and your community? Have you carved out moments to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally? Or have you let the demands of career, busyness, and distraction steal your focus from what truly matters, the state of your heart? Because here's the truth. When the awards tarnish, when the applause fades, when the phone stops ringing, it is the quiet strength of your soul that will sustain you through the long nights and quiet mornings. With this perspective, a man over 50 must embrace the reality that his purpose is far from finished. Society might whisper in your ear that after a certain age, your best days are behind you, that you should step aside and let the young take over. But this is a cruel lie meant to rob you of your calling. Your purpose isn't defined by what you've already accomplished, but by what you still have to give. And, my friend, you have so much left to offer. There are lives yet to be changed by your words, lessons still to be taught by your example, and hearts that need the wisdom you've gained through years of walking both mountaintops and valleys. At 50 or 60 or beyond, you are not over the hill. You are standing in the fullness of your life's harvest. You carry stories of survival, tales of triumph, and insights honed through pain and perseverance. These aren't burdens to hide, they are blessings to share. A man over 50 holds a unique place in the world. You are like an oak tree planted deep and strong, offering shelter and guidance to those still learning how to weather the storms of life. There are young men out there hungry to know what real resilience looks like. Not the fake toughness of bravado, but the quiet courage of a man who's been knocked down and gotten back up, who's faced losses and kept his faith, who's learned to stand firm when the winds of life howled. But remember this, your purpose isn't just about what you do for yourself, it's also about what you sow into others. Because with purpose comes legacy, and legacy is where theory meets practice. Legacy is not a word etched into a stone or a name engraved on a plaque. It is written in the hearts and minds of the people you have loved, taught, and encouraged. A man over 50 must understand that legacy is never about what you accumulate, but always about what you impart. True legacy is alive in your children, not only in the lessons you explicitly taught, but in the way you modeled patience, honesty, and integrity. It's alive in the young men you mentored at work or church, even if you never realized how closely they were watching. Legacy is carried forward in the lives of those who remember how you stayed when things got hard, how you showed grace when others would have given up, how you offered forgiveness when it wasn't deserved. Take a moment to reflect. Have you lived in such a way that those who follow you will be stronger, wiser, and kinder because of you? Have you used your words to build others up, or have you let pride or anger tear them down? Have you given your time to someone who needed it most, even when you had every excuse to walk away? Because in the final analysis, when you look back on your life, you won't measure your worth by the deals you closed, the promotions you earned, or the size of your bank account. You will remember the conversations that changed someone's life, the moments you chose to listen instead of judge, the days you offered encouragement to someone ready to give up. Those memories will be the jewels of your legacy, and one day when you stand before your Creator, it will not be your resume He asks for, but the state of your soul and the love you shared with others. So as you stand in this season of life, know that your race isn't finished. The road ahead may be shorter than the one behind you, but it is just as important, maybe even more so. Walk it with courage. Walk it with humility. Walk it with a heart ready to give, to love, to forgive. Because your greatest impact may yet be ahead of you. You'll remember the faces of those who walked alongside you, the ones who stood by you through life's storms, who celebrated your victories, who leaned on you in their weakest moments. You'll remember the eyes of those you mentored, the hands you held when hope was thin, the hearts you encouraged when they were ready to give up. You'll remember how you chose to invest your time, your wisdom, and your love in people in your family, your friends, and even strangers who crossed your path. That, my friend, is your true legacy. It isn't carved in stone or measured in dollars. It's written in the memories of the lives you touched. But as you consider what you will leave behind, there is something equally important, something that will either liberate you or limit you: forgiveness. Forgiveness is the doorway to freedom. If you're over 50, you've likely accumulated wounds, some caused by others, some inflicted by your own choices. Maybe it was the harsh words of a parent you never reconciled with, a betrayal by someone you trusted deeply, or a decision you made that you regret to this day. These wounds, if left unhealed, will keep you chained to the past. A man unwilling to forgive is a man imprisoned by yesterday. The bitterness of a broken relationship, the sting of missed opportunities, or the shame of personal failures, if you refuse to forgive these memories, will poison your present and rob you of the joy and peace that should be yours today. And let's be clear, forgiveness doesn't mean excusing wrongs or pretending the pain never happened. It doesn't mean you forget. It means you release the power that pain holds over your heart. It means you refuse to let yesterday's wounds define tomorrow's possibilities. Forgiveness sets you free. It allows you to step forward with strength and peace instead of being dragged backward by bitterness. It's not just about forgiving others, it's about forgiving yourself. Because if you're honest, you know you've made mistakes. We all have. You've spoken words you wish you could take back. You've hurt people you loved. You've let opportunities slip through your fingers. But living under the weight of regret will only steal the beauty of your remaining days. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can choose how you carry it. Will you let it weigh you down, Or will you let it teach you, humble you, and ultimately make you more compassionate? Because true freedom is found not in perfection, but in grace, grace for others, and grace for yourself. And while you nurture your soul, remember this: your body is the vessel God has given you to live out your purpose. As you age, you'll feel the changes, the stiffness in your joints, the slowing of your steps, the reminders that you are not as young as you once were. It becomes tempting to ignore your health, to brush aside self-care with excuses like, "I'm too busy," or "it's too late." But your body is not something to take for granted. It's the very means by which you love, serve, and leave a legacy. Exercise is not a quest for youthful appearance. It's a commitment to strength. The strength to pick up your grandchild, to stand tall when life throws you a blow, to keep walking forward when you'd rather sit down. Healthy eating isn't just about watching your waistline. It's about fueling your body with what it needs to function well so you can be present for those who need you. And rest isn't laziness, it's wisdom. Rest restores your mind, renews your spirit, and equips you to face each day with purpose. A man over 50 must care for his body, not as an act of vanity, but as an act of stewardship. You don't own your body. You've been entrusted with it. And like any gift, it must be maintained. If you neglect it, you shorten the time and energy you have to make a difference. But if you care for it wisely, you extend your ability to love, to serve, and to live with joy. As you navigate this season of life, understand that reaching 50 isn't a finish line. It's a milestone. Yes, your surroundings may change, your responsibilities may shift, and your strength may wane, but your soul remains the anchor of who you are. Too many men spend their lives chasing achievements they can show off, only to realize later that those trophies gather dust while their souls wither. So ask yourself daily, what am I doing to nourish my soul? Am I making time to sit quietly with God, to talk with my family, to reflect on what truly matters? Or am I still running a race for accolades that will never satisfy? Because, in the end, the health of your soul will carry you through life's darkest valleys and highest peaks. Don't let the world's standards define your worth. The size of your house, the title on your business card, the balance in your account, these things are temporary. But a man who tends to his soul, who forgives others and himself, who cares for his body as the precious vessel it is, and who invests in the hearts of people, that man leaves a legacy of love and strength that echoes far beyond his own lifetime. You've come this far, and if there's one thread woven through every truth we've explored, it's this: your journey is not defined by the years behind you, but by the soul you carry forward. A man over 50 must know deep down in his bones that the peace within him, the purpose he still holds, and the love he gives will outshine any title he's worn or wealth he's amassed. Because if you've lived long enough, you know that external success does not guarantee inner peace. Money fades, fame dims, titles change hands. All the shiny things we chase in our youth lose their luster when real storms come. But the peace you cultivate within yourself, the wisdom you carry quietly in your heart, and the love you pour into others, these are the treasures that endure long after the applause fades. So ask yourself honestly, have you tended to your soul? Have you taken the time to nurture your spiritual life, to care for your emotional well-being, and to invest in the relationships with those who matter most? Because it's not the size of your bank account or the accolades hanging on your wall that will hold you steady in the hardest nights. It's the strength of your soul, the anchor that keeps you grounded when life's waves hit. And no worldly success can ever replace that. But as important as tending your soul is a man over 50 must also remember this: your purpose has not expired. Society will try to convince you that the world belongs to the young, that your best years are behind you, that you've been sidelined. But that's a lie. Your purpose is not confined to the past. If anything, your experience has prepared you for this very season. The lessons you've learned through victories and failures, the scars you've earned, the resilience you've built, all of these have equipped you in ways you couldn't have understood in your youth. Your purpose may no longer look like climbing corporate ladders or chasing worldly ambitions. It might look like pouring into others, your children, your grandchildren, your community. It might look like listening when no one else will, offering words of wisdom when confusion reigns, showing what dignity looks like when life tests you. And remember, younger men are watching even if they never say it. They look to you for guidance on how to age with grace, how to face hardship without losing hope, how to stand tall when life tries to knock you down. You've lived through fire and come out stronger. Now you are uniquely positioned to mentor, to teach, and to show the way. And whether it's through intentional mentorship or simply the quiet faithfulness of your everyday life, your purpose is alive and it's powerful. As you consider your purpose, it's essential to reflect on your legacy. A man over 50 must understand that his legacy is not measured in the material things he leaves behind, but in the love, guidance, and impact he leaves in the hearts of others. It's easy to believe your legacy is about the size of your estate, the accolades you collected, or the positions you once held. But those things will one day be forgotten. What endures is how you treated the people in your life. The moments when you chose patience over anger, kindness over pride, humility over self-promotion. The times you stopped what you were doing to comfort a crying child, to encourage a struggling friend, or to forgive someone who didn't deserve it. Your legacy is written not in ink, but in the memories of those you loved and served. It's in the stories your family will tell, the way your children remember how you listened, without judgment, the way your grandchildren remember how your laughter made them feel safe, the way a young man recalls the day you showed him what integrity looks like. That is your true legacy. But as you shape your legacy, there's a burden that many men carry far too long, the weight of unforgiveness. A man over 50 must know this truth. Forgiveness is freedom. Life inevitably wounds us. People disappoint, betray, abandon, or hurt us in ways we never expected. Sometimes the deepest cuts come from the people we loved most, and often the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. Holding on to those hurts, replaying old wrongs, or clinging to resentment only keeps you chained to a past you can't change. Bitterness doesn't punish the one who hurt you. It poisons your own heart, robs you of peace, and blinds you to the blessings in front of you. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what happened. It doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't matter. It means releasing the power those memories have over your heart. It means choosing freedom, choosing peace. And yes, forgiveness is hard, but it's worth it. Because a heart set free can love more fully, live more lightly, and leave a richer legacy. Whether you need to forgive your father for not being there, a friend who betrayed your trust, a partner who broke your heart, or yourself for mistakes you can't undo, do it now. Don't waste another day letting bitterness steal your joy. Finally, remember that your body is a sacred vessel. As you age, it will remind you of its limits. Your joints will ache, your recovery will slow, and your energy might dip. But don't use this as an excuse to neglect yourself. See it as a call to honor your body with the care it deserves. Exercise not to chase vanity, but to stay strong for those who need you. Eat well, not out of fear, but out of respect for the life you've been given. Rest not because you're weak, but because you are wise enough to know that rest renews your mind, body, and soul. Your physical health isn't just about you, it's about staying present and engaged in the lives of those you love. It's about having the strength to pick up your grandchildren, the stamina to keep serving, and the vitality to keep building your legacy. Steward your body as a gift, Because it is. So what must a man over 50 know? That external success fades, but the peace within endures. That your purpose is alive, and your years of experience make you more valuable than ever. That forgiveness is the key to freedom. That your body is your vessel, and caring for it is an act of love. And that your legacy is not in what you leave but who you love and how you serve. Because in the end, when your days are done and the world grows quiet, what will echo in eternity won't be the numbers in your bank account or the plaques on your wall. It will be the souls you've touched, the hearts you've healed, the faith you've shared, and the love you've given. And that, my friend, is a life well lived, a life that matters, a life that endures, a life that will never truly fade.